Okay, so we have our slide assembled, and now we'll be doing the frame here. So this is a bare frame except for a couple things. This one has this slide lock spring put in it already. That's that right there. And the magazine release is installed. If you look inside here, try to get it so that you can see it. I don't think you can. Maybe it's better like this. No, definitely not. Well, anyways, there's a little metal spring inside here that puts tension on this magazine release, and that's what makes it work. So it's just like a little metal bar looking thing that goes into the frame and then into the magazine release when you put it in. So it's kind of annoying to take it out, and I'm not gonna. This little slide lock spring here, this just snaps out, but I mean, it comes in any frame is going to have it except for a totally stripped frame. So just remember that if you do get a strip frame, you'll need to order that, and they do sell them on Lone Wolf. The next thing is to deal with the trigger assembly. So this is the trigger bar with the trigger, and this is your ejector right here, and your trigger housing mechanism. So what you're going to want to do is take your trigger spring, and this is a heavier trigger spring, so it actually decreases the pull of the trigger. And there's actually, I don't know if you can see it, but in the back of it, there's a little hole there. You want to take the trigger spring, come up over the top of it, get it into that hole like that, so that it's facing there. That's perfect. Okay. Likewise, on your trigger bar, there's going to be a little hole right there. So now they're connected, but you have to actually put this into the trigger housing. That's probably why they call it that. And it just goes in like that. It just slides into that little thing. But it's easy enough to, you know. Your trigger connector here, this is the 3.5 pound one that I ordered off Amazon, but you can get them just about anywhere. There's a slot on the housing for it right there. So you're going to push that in, and you'll have to mess with it a little bit probably, but this is how it'll look when it's done. Okay, so my trigger connector is in there. The trigger bar is like that. You're going to want to go ahead and drop this into the frame. So the trigger goes, down into that space. And this goes right into the back. It just snaps in. You'll know if something isn't right. Okay. So that's what it would look like. See, and you got your trigger bar here is nice and like flush with the frame. I'm going to take, actually, you know what? This is something that has to be done. This is something that has to be done before anything. So these are your takedown levers. This is what you grab onto when you're trying to field strip the gun. So that's actually what that little metal slide lock spring is for. It keeps this under tension. So in order to get that in, you have to push down on the slide lock spring and slide. Come on. Be a little annoying. Clearly. Oh, I guess I was putting it in wrong. I was putting it upside down. That's not very good. So now you've got, see that spring keeping this thing under tension, the takedown lever. Okay. And it just slides into those grooves. These grooves right here on the frame, but you have to take something and put that little metal slide lock spring under tension when you put it in. And apparently, don't put it in upside down. Now you take your this is your locking block. There's these two grooves right here and here. It's gonna slide in there, and it's the wider parts with the holes that slide in. Just like that. Now you're ready for pins. So this is my slide lock lever. So what I'm going to do, it's aftermarket. You're going to take, this is really difficult to see. You're going to take this and put it in on the very edge there. It slides under the locking block, okay? Right on the very left, okay? As far forward as you can get it. And you're going to take this biggest pin here, and you're going to put that in the bottom hole. And it'll go right through, not too far, right through your slide lock lever. Now you're going to take this second pin, because see, this is what's left. This second pin, and then this is for the very back of it, but you can see the difference. This one has these little ridges, and it's actually longer. So that's going to go through your top hole, this hole right here. But in order to get it in, you're going to have to push down. The little wire on the slide lock lever is going to be sticking up. It's sticking up, so you're going to have to use something small like this to push it down so that you can get that pin in. And when it's in properly, it'll look like this. That's the pin right there. That's the second pin that we put in right under the locking block. And that little tiny piece of wire from your slide lock lever should be just peeking out underneath it. And now the only thing left is the back pin. So we'll put that in you'll notice that sometimes pins can be really difficult at first, but the more you work on a gun, the more you break it in, and it becomes less difficult. So I have my fully assembled upper receiver and lower receiver, and they're ready to be put together. And this is one good way of knowing if you did a good job or not. If you put it in, okay, perfect. Looks like it was getting hung up at first, but okay. So